Hello and welcome to another edition of the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. I have returned back to covering NBA post games. Tonight we're going to cover the Atlanta Hawks and the Dallas Mavericks basketball game that just wrapped up about 15 minutes ago. Um, just breaking down the box score. Let's head down to the box score because I can't really put this game into context because it was a weird one because I think after halftime, we saw Luka and Young have 7 points. Now, looking at this game, every time Atlanta and Dallas Mavericks play, these two teams are known for high octane offense, explosive plays. I was looking for fireworks. I didn't get it. At halftime, Luka and Trae Young both had 7 points apiece. And looking at this new look Maverick team, they got out the gate really slow. The offense was very stagnant, very stale. But the bright spot that I did see that they was getting after it a little bit more on defense, even though the score didn't indicate that. Just my eye test alone, seeing that they was closing out on the ball a lot more. Basically locking in and playing lockdown defense as best they could. But the ball game just kind of got out of hand after halftime. And looking at the box score, Luka finished with 18 points in 5 minutes. I mean, that's not a customary Luka game. We're looking for at least 30 plus points out of Luka. And this team, make no mistake about it, it goes as Luka Doncic go. And Kristaps Porzingis, even though looking at the game, he played a lot more aggressive on defense. I really liked his energy in the first 2 quarters. After halftime, I really didn't even hear too much about Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, they just could not find the basket. Every shot was either short or too strong. It's just one game. There's 81 more games to go. But I'm looking for the Mavericks to start getting back into the flow on the offensive end. Now, last year they started off really slow, and then at the end, they were starting to put together these double digit deficits on teams. And I know this team is highly capable of getting this right. But tonight was just, a night where they just could not find the basket. And Luka really struggled. Trae Young struggled until later in the ball game where he kind of, found a rhythm. And we're gonna get into him later. But just looking at the box score, the highest score on the team for the Mavericks was 18 points, and that was Luka. Behind him was Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson is one of my favorite Maverick players. I mean, I always have loved his energy, loved his impact that he makes on the ball game once he's inserted in. But I really just didn't see the tenacity on offense. After they start getting hit in the mouth, I mean, you start seeing other guys hitting shots. They start seeing these balls falling a lot more. Dallas shrank and they blew him off the floor in a 113-87 deficit, and they just couldn't overcome it. Tonight, we're going to try to see if we can get the Mavericks on for the post game. We're going to get into some questions, hopefully, with some Maverick players and also the new head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, Jason Kidd. But before we get into that, we're going to take a look at the Hawks score. With 19 points, Trae Young in 33 minutes, that's just not a Trae Young game. Like I said, him and Luka struggled, and he only had a point more than Luka. After that, you had Cam Reddish. Now, Cam Reddish, last year he was hurt. Last year I was looking for him a lot more, and I didn't even know he was hurt last year. And I was wondering why they wasn't playing Cam Reddish. And tonight he had that spark. I mean, Cam Reddish was really the difference maker in this ball game. And just looking at how they were playing, they play together. You could tell this team, is hungry. I'm really interested to see exactly what this team can potentially do once they get back into the postseason. Really like this team. John Collins locked down on defense. He had 16 points. rebounds and three. Solid night. That's a John Collins game. And you had Clint Capella in 21 minutes. He had 12 points. I mean, they was throwing him lobs. He's not going to shoot the ball. You're going to have him a lot around the rim a lot. But I like his role on this team. It seemed like he really done found a second phase of his career. We remember him in Houston. Houston, he played um, pretty much the same type of role, but I feel like his impact is more on this Atlanta Hawks team. And I just like how they put this ball game together. Nate McMillan, he's a perfect coach for this philosophy in his team, and I think that this team can actually go somewhere. I feel like last year, if Trae Young didn't get hurt, I think they could have put a lot more pressure on the Bucks. But this is a brand new season. Expectations are still the same. We're looking for them to do great things. They came back on the Philadelphia series, and it was a very controversial series. Where they beat the number one seed. They give them a shot to beat Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, but here we are, and I think this team is for real. So what we're gonna do is take a quick break, try to see if we can get the Mavericks on from their post game podium questions and things like that, and we'll be right back. All right, we got the Mavericks on the line. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Right now, we're waiting to start the post game interview questions with the Dallas Mavericks. Looking at more of the stats, shooting from the field as a team, the Dallas Mavericks only shot 33% from the field. 31 to 93 was the total on their shooting. 3 pointers wise, they couldn't find the basket. 13 to 43. Looking at Atlanta, they was 15 to 35, and that's good for 42%. The Mavericks did shoot 92%. They only missed one free throw, 12 or 13. I mean, they was getting to the line, but like I said, with this abysmal shooting across the board, for the rest of the game, that's the biggest discrepancy in this ball game, and that's why you see that the Mavericks did get blown out. They got out rebounded by 50 to 55. Assists. Just looking at that second half, how the Atlanta Hawks was moving the basketball around, finding open guy, getting the extra pass. I mean, they did a phenomenal job, with the game plan. The Mavericks turned the ball over a lot more in the second half. And the biggest thing that I seen was the points in the paint. The Hawks had 46 points in the paint to the Mavericks 26 points. They were doing a lot of damage in the paint around the rim and things like that. So I'm gonna wrap up that Kristaps Porzingis is heading up to the podium.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, they played good defense. They played good defense. I think we're just out of rhythm on our offense tonight, and that led maybe to some forced shots. Sometimes we turn down a pretty good look early in the offense and drive, kick, and then we get to a tougher shot at the end, but we have to take it. So I think no need to overreact. We know what we're capable of on the offensive end. We just have to organize it a little bit and bounce back and be just catch that rhythm offensively. And once we do that, we'll be okay. Yeah, that's bad. That's very bad. And just stick to our routine, stick to our work, trust our work, and go out there and play again with the same confidence. There's no need to get ourselves now.
positivo que pueda sacar de esta noche?
Perdona, no te he escuchado bien.
Que si hay algo positivo de lo que pueda sacar esta noche, a pesar de que no ha sido un buen partido.
Bueno, yo creo que hemos seguido.
All right, looks like the Mavericks just ended the post game. We did have some technical difficulties. I'm not sure if that was on their end or on mine, but they had Jalen Brunson and Chris Porzingis on there breaking down the game. And one thing that stuck out for me from KP, you know, how he addressed it. We know exactly what this team represents and how potent that they can be on the offensive end. And I'm not taking this game, as a sign of something to come. Like as far as like this is a trend, I just think that this is opening night. It's a new team under new leadership, new direction, new philosophy, and I have no doubt that this team can bounce back. I think the next game they play is Toronto, and once they start winning games and things like that, we'll forget all about this game. Um, that's gonna do it for us tonight. We're back doing the NBA post game. We're gonna try to get on some more pre games and things like that. But it was really good to finally get back on and break down the game and watch the game and get back in the flow of things. I took a long break from podcasting and things like that. But we're back on the grind. Trying to get back onto these NBA teams, kind of reconnect with the teams that I was last year. But slowly but surely, we're going to try to build everything back up and try to get consistent content out. Maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week, where we're going to break down an NBA game. Depending on which NBA teams are allowing us to be able to stream their Zooms, because they're being really strict about us being able to do that. Because now that they have returned back to some sense of normalcy, but as far as people being on Zoom, so hopefully we can still use the Zoom and broadcast some of the live post game. But appreciate the support. Make sure you tune back in for the next one.
If you love the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, we'd love